First, we want to bring in Craig Karmazin. He is the founder and CEO of Good Karma Brands. Craig, good afternoon. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, Craig.
I'm on a trip in Europe. I mean, how many times are you going to use that excuse, Mercure?
That's a good one.
Craig, we were actually going to ask you, what's the best you've ever heard?
I don't think there are excuses, right? I mean, you're either there or you're not there. I don't believe in excuses. So there are no excuses.
You're either there or you're there.
I
wrote that down.
And I feel like Craig could have used the "I'm in Europe," which is true, right? I feel like you could have used that in previous years, maybe even the last couple of months.
Yeah, well, I think in this day and age, wherever you are, with the roles you have, you can be bringing your amazing wit and information to Wisconsin radio listeners.
You know, you're right about that. With today's technology, there really is no excuse at all. Hey, Craig, wanted to ask you about this because this is really excited. GKB Brands, Good Karma Brands, has entered into an agreement with ESPN, the radio network, and the podcast business. What is happening? What is this all about? Give us the basics.
Yeah, so it's really cool. You know, we've been working with ESPN now for 20 plus years. We started here in Wisconsin, you know, in Beaver Dam, you know, in 1997, and we've been based in Milwaukee for a while now. And ESPN has been the biggest driving force in our growth. And so we've grown over the years. We added Chicago and New York and Los Angeles in recent years. And now today, it was incredible to announce that we will be handling sales for the entire ESPN radio network nationwide and for the entire ESPN podcast business. So all the advertising sales that is being done for those businesses is going to now be done by our Good Karma teammates around the country, which is a pretty, you know, incredible thing to think about when you think about how we started as a small affiliate of ESPN, and now we're going to be managing all of their advertising sales around the country for them.
Well, Craig, and sure, it's after many years of building Good Karma Brands into such a steward of the ESPN brand, this relationship, it goes back a couple of decades, I would assume. When do conversations like this start, where you kind of raise your hand and say, you know what, I think we can do more here?
Well, we've always said to them that, you know, we want to be the ones to scale the business, that we didn't believe what we were doing was just about radio. It was our passion for engaging a local community, engaging local advertisers around the brand. And so it expanded our relationship into bowl games, into digital. We had talked about, you know, going a decade plus back as, you know, wanting to help them scale their radio brand. But this is so different because we've always been a local company. So now this is the first time where ESPN said, hey, we need someone who's going to do something nationally for us with podcasts, you know, which is a huge, booming, growing industry, and with the radio network, which is, you know, the top established radio, you know, sports radio network brand. So for them to choose us over Spotify, over Sirius XM, over these, you know, iconic kind of billion-dollar brands is just incredibly flattering for us.
Craig Karmazin with us on WTMJ. Craig, it's obviously really exciting, and it's a great opportunity. On any level, is it intimidating?
No, I mean, it's just so fun. I mean, there's times where you step back and you think about, hey, what were we doing 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? But we didn't get into this thing not to keep growing and not to keep growing the careers for our teammates. So for us, it's just about making sure we're listening and learning, because it's a new thing that we don't know everything on, right? And if we're going to try to make it our own, we're going to try to reinvent the way the business has been run, because we're certainly not going to go and do it the same. We need to lead by listening so that we can learn enough to know what things we do want to do differently.
So we all know that you are bold and you just do things. The Boca Raton Bowl, you mentioned it earlier. What was the importance when you decided, a local radio and some digital company, to get with ESPN Events and help launch the Boca Raton Bowl? How important was that to what's happening today?
Well, it was important, and it wasn't us launching the game. It was them deciding to launch a game, and our team in West Palm Beach had established themselves as the best-in-class local sports marketing and sales organization. So it was the ESPN event saying, hey, we've never worked with a local ESPN radio station, but we are willing to try to work with Good Karma on this. And that was the first time we ever truly partnered with ESPN, where we were sharing revenue on something. And the success of the Boca Raton Bowl is what's led to, the greater partnership that we're announcing today.
I always think back to like when you started this company, Craig, and we had a meeting at our WTMJ office on Capitol Drive several years ago, and you brought in folks who worked in Beaver Dam and some other markets. Even then, that wasn't that long ago, but since then, you talk about this acquisition and this opportunity along with New York, LA, Chicago. Has this grown bigger than you ever expected it to, especially when you opened that first station and took control in Beaver Dam?
No, I mean, I started the company because I thought it would be awesome, so I think we're in like the top of the third inning, right? So we're doing great things. We have a great team, but, this should be now the new baseline, of where we're starting from. So there's, absolutely, when I would think about, oh my God, the network and we're this local affiliate, it's cool now to do this, but kind of like you celebrate for for that one night after you win the game, and then you get to work at growing so that you're prepared whenever the next opportunity comes along.
Craig Karmazin with us. How are you feeling about Jordan Love?
I am feeling that he has very unfair expectations on him. I just don't believe it's fair what people are expecting, and for me, I think he could have a great quality season and be maybe the 18th or 19th best quarterback in the NFL, and the Packers could go 5-12. And I could feel really good about the season and really feel good about Jordan Love, but I don't think that's the common thought that Packer fans have right now.
So I'm with you on that, by the way, because I go back to Aaron's first year. It's like, if he can just show a little something, right, this team might be pretty good. They don't have to be in the playoffs, but can he be a guy to get you there? I kind of think I feel the same way about Love. Just show us what you got, that you're the right guy. I think I'm in your camp on this one, that you don't have to be 10 and whatever, be a playoff team, but show signs of being that.
I mean, you look at – I would take – if you said to me right now, the Packers could have the same season this year that the Bears had last year, I would absolutely take that. Where you see enough from your quarterback that you believe he's your franchise quarterback, that you trade some players and get your salary cap set up for the future. You get draft picks lined up. You have the number one pick of the draft. I mean, hey, I would take 3-14 and know you got your guy. So I would, if this year's Packer season was last year's Bears season, I'd be happy.
Have you talked to Giannis lately? How's our guy? Is he ready?
I have never. I don't want to say I've never talked to Giannis. I've not talked to Giannis, but I can imagine that he is ready. It's so cool that Thanasis is there. So back to two sets of brothers, right, on the team. The Lopez's back together again, and Giannis and Thanasis. And I think it's probably the most underrated thing where we in Wisconsin take for granted that this team just went out and re-signed Chris Middleton and re-signed Brooke Lopez and went deep over not just the salary cap, but the luxury tax at a point where the team is in a repeating situation where there's extra penalties. It's really cool to have Wes Edens, Jimmy Haslam, Jamie, who are willing to, this team wins a championship. It's not going to make money. Right? These are guys who are just so committed to bringing another championship to Milwaukee and to putting the right parts around Giannis, which I just don't think we should take that for granted because that's really, really special. And there's not many other examples. I don't know if you can find other examples of that in markets our size.
Craig Karmazin is the founder and CEO of Good Karma Brands. Congratulations on the ESPN news. This is exciting. This is great stuff, Craig. Thanks for making some time for us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.